My trash compactor's back in service.
What is back in service?
My trash compactor. What?
Wait, it's thinking about it.
Is this? Really?
Yes, really. Okay, uno momentos, por favors.
Are you having fun? Yeah, you.
Okie dokie artichoke.
Are you telling me you're ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Sorry, Ross.
At least I thought I was ready. Here we go. There we go.
Okay. Let's do this.
Boom to butter. All right. All right, talk real quick. Let me make sure I got the right volume here.
Just how fast should I really talk? All right, just a second. Can never tell these days.
All right, let me do this one, do that one. We hit the record button. Record, Charlie. What the fuck? There you go. Record.
Recording's a pretty cool tool to use.
All right.
Our son.
Muting Zealeus, and then we'll start. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Dish Shelter Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Greetings and salutations, good sir. How goes it on this quite glorious Thursday?
It goes. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you may be wondering why we are slightly late, and it's all Charlie's fault.
When is it not all Charlie's fault?
Anyways, before we get into it, ladies and gentlemen, of course, I am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the Plifcomer himself, Zealeus. This Thursday Hangout is a live show. We try our best to cover the topics most important to you during the show. At any point during the show, if you would like to add your thoughts, comments, concerns, questions, any of that stuff, just drop it into the chat and we'll add it to the show. If we do unfortunately run out of time, we'll try to add it to the very next show. Now, back to why Charlie is to blame. Charlie had a basketball game. Charlie's team won by 20 points. But still, the game was at 7, and I had to get home, and I had to take a shower because, oh my God, I was a sweaty mess. But now here we are.
I have nothing witty to say. I thought I had something, and it just escaped out of my brain.
Let's just say, as I've gotten older, I know this is kind of gross, but I've gotten sweatier, and it's so weird.
That's good to know.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, for many of you, you probably are very aware that this past Saturday was the Extra Life 24-hour game-a-thon for Charlie.
24 hours?
Indeed. We ended up playing, or I ended up playing quite a few games. The games were, I'm going to cheat. Hold on. I'm going to pull up my Steam.
You cheat at games? How dare you, sir?
To see what games I played.
You're destroying the sacrilege and the integrity of games everywhere by the mere saying.
So let's see here. I played some Windblown. I played some Hades 2. I played some Dice Folk.
Oh, yeah.
I tried to play Void Rot. And let me tell you, I have no idea what the hell I'm supposed to be doing. I don't understand. It's a Metroidvania game. It should be right in my wheelhouse. I could not figure it out. I kept going right up to the first boss and then getting my ass handed to me.
Maybe you needed to grind more.
And then I played Hades 2 and then beat several bosses that are very difficult that have lots of different patterns, and I was able to conquer that. So I played some
Nice.
Slay the Spire. I played a good chunk of SteamWorld Heist 2, which is kind of it's a turn-based, side-scrolling like squad game where you've got your crew of you've got different missions, and sometimes your crew is just a single person crew, other times it's 3, and each of the crew members has their own job. So there's like snipers and flankers and brawlers and all that stuff. And not only do you have to like hide behind cover, but you also have to, when you attack, unless it's a melee attack, you have to aim. You can't just be like, yes, I will use my snipe, and then magically you snipe the person that you're aiming at. Oh no, you've got to line up your shot.
That sounds very similar. I played SteamWorld on Switch years ago.
Yes,
this is
the sequel to it. I played that.
Nice.
I played a lot of Tales of the Neon Sea, which is a puzzle, side-scrolling kind of like detective mystery game. I think, this was during the time where every single time I do Extra Life, there's always that little bit of time where my body decides to just zone out, and it's a coin flip. Is Charlie going to stay conscious? And I will fully admit that I caught my head falling, and then I had to jerk back, basically jerk myself awake. I played that, and then I discovered that my brain had went completely kablooey. I had basically lost all my fast twitch skills, and so I ended up playing a game called The Counting Kingdom, which is it is a game that you cast spells, and all the spells have number values, and basically you select the monsters who also have number values, and then you select a bunch of monsters that equal up a number value, then click on the spell number, and ta-da! So I was doing math for like an hour and a half.
It sounds like that requires intense thinking.
I'm basically a human calculator when it comes to simple math, so it was not bad. So I had that, and then I finished off the evening with Chex Quest HD. Yes, that's right. There was a Doom or Wolfenstein 3D-esque game that was a Chex serial branded shooter game, and I played through that, or I played a chunk of that.
You were inspired to play this during the game in marathon.
Well, I was just like, I want to shoot something, but I know that I need something that's very laid back. And Chex Quest, the monsters do not move fast. So
I remember last year you played some Halo.
I thought about, the only reason why I didn't end up playing Halo is that I had uninstalled it recently, apparently, to make room for one of the bajillions of games that I have on my PC, and so I didn't end up doing that. And I didn't actually get around to play any Switch games this year. I had the capture card, but I never actually, hooked up the Switch. So
this is why the last time I upgraded my PC, I got a 4 terabyte SSD because I was tired of playing Jenga. Because of that, I'm like, this is annoying. Yeah, I still have the Master Chief Collection, which I'm sure I bought it on sale, on some Steam sale at some point. It was like 95% off. And like so many games, guess how many hours I've actually played?
15 minutes of it.
4.
That's more than I thought.
So I always think about it. Like every time like I need a game to play, like I always think, because wasn't Halo was basically Xbox exclusive back in the day, right? Yes, it was like
the big game that really kicked. Well, so Halo I think was released on Xbox and PC, but remember that Halo when it first came out, the big wigs that financed it thought no one's going to buy a game that's just called Halo. So they said Halo Combat Evolved. And of course, once everyone's like, "Oh my God, Halo!" and no one said Halo Combat Evolved, they were like, you know what? We could probably just say Halo 2 and be cool.
Yeah. Halo Combat Evolved. Combat
Yep.
Evolvedist.
Exactly. So
Just making weirder and weirder. Kind of like Fast and the Furious. Just put it in different
too fast,
like,
too
spellings.
furious.
To Combat to Evolve.
Instead of Halo, it's Halos, like Alien and Aliens. They just added an S, baby.
It's just, the Halo.
Now, speaking of sci-fi adventure games that blew up on the console, let's talk about the fact that Mass Effect has a TV show being created for Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
I feel your love and support.
I say
for that.
yeah because the showrunner
Fast
has
and
done
Furious
like
9.
Yeah. Well, and he's also been a part of like other I forget what one's off the top of my head, but he's done other game to TV show like things, and they've all not been good. There's like 3 of them he's been a part of, and you read the list, and you're like, yeah. And like, I'm a sucker for Fast and the Furious, so like, I enjoyed Fast and the Furious 9, but it's also not something I would have as like the leading item on my resume. It's only fun because it's part of the entire like stupid, ridiculous saga where street thieves become superheroes. So in that context, understanding what it is, I enjoyed it, but it doesn't mean it was actually good. So I'm extremely skeptical of a massive. Part of the beauty to me of Mass Effect is like it's the true epitome to me of being the protagonist. Whether or not you're Renegade or Paragon, you're still the protagonist in it. And then the storyline that you're part of, making those choices in the relationships you form around your fellow characters. And they're all choices you make. I just have and the tricky part is you look at something that's worked well, like oh my gosh, Fallout, but it also is like it's a tertiary story to the Fallout universe. It's not like following the main characters. And like with Mass Effect, I guess you have 2 choices, where it's either you follow the first off to be the huge argument over do Shepard or Femshep. That's like the first thing. And then, of course, you're going to have relationships, and people have their own ships about that. It's a lot of baggage to follow the story, which is a phenomenal story. That's a lot of baggage. But if you do your own unique story, I just have a hard time believing it's going to lead up to the potential of what a Mass Effect is. I mean, to be honest, if they're gonna do Mass Effect and follow the OG story, it's probably gonna be like Halo, where it has its moments. Like there was good parts of the TV show, but on the totality of it, it just felt that was the issue. Like I'm sure they'll have like the scene of Mass Effect where the first time you come on the Citadel. Actually, probably not too dissimilar, honestly, from the first season of Rings of Power. Cinematography, absolutely beautiful. Like it is phenomenally gorgeous, but the actual story is just. And I could see kind of the same issue with like a Mass Effect series where they do some really cool, interesting things. And I think the other tricky part is it's a combat game where you look at like, the Halo television series, and it's like did that really gnarly, awesome battle scene, like the first and last episode, basically. And the middle is just kind of filler story because that's where they blow their budget, right? You hook people in, which was a really good action sequence that first 15 minutes, and there goes 90% of your CG effects budget. I want a Halo series. I mean, sorry, Mass Effect series. It's one of my favorite series of all time. It's it's kind of like the whole Harry Potter thing. Living up to those expectations just carries such a weight that I'm just skeptical it's
Right.
going to live up to it.
Right. But so
I would,
going a little bit further into the research of you've got the show writer being the guy behind Fast and Furious 9. The executive producer is the producer of 3 of the DLC packs for Mass Effect 3. So
Okay.
at least they have some kind of.
I mean, the Citadel was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah,
So there is
Citadel,
that.
Leviathan, and From Ashes was the 3 that he was attached to.
I think Citadel's honestly the only one I ever played. I actually have a Legendary Edition and still need to play the third one
Citadel.
legendarily. But yes, no, I agree that having the actual someone who's a part of the story and writing it,
Yeah.
that's a good thing. So hopefully that gives a little authenticity to it. I'm curious
Now,
to
of
see
course,
where
the
it
reason
goes.
why this is making huge headlines is that it is November 7th today, and that, of course, is Mass Effect Day in 7. So,
Oh, sure. Yeah, that makes sense. And of course, at some point, we'll have Mass Effect. What are they even calling it? Mass Effect 4? Mass Effect 5? I don't even know what they're calling it.
I do remember that, or I do know that Dragon Age Vanguard, is that the one that just came out? That they've come out and said, yeah, we're not doing any DLC for Vanguard. We've gone straight to Mass Effect. Everyone's over there now. I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting.
I mean, that's yeah. I don't see an issue. I mean, not every game needs that
Right,
DLC.
but I would have hoped that you had like some DLC plan from the get go, because I mean that's kind of like what all games do now.
That's fair. Now they may have also seen the reaction to. You're right. They may have had like a guide, like a blueprint, but once they saw the reaction, that may have also been like yeah, let's just cut our losses and move on. And the problem is, if they follow the same pattern in Vanguard, is it Vanguard? Is that what they called it?
I'm looking it up now because now I'm convinced that it's something slightly different.
I think it is.
The Veil Guard.
Whatever.
Veil Guard, not Vanguard, but Veil Guard.
Thank you, Veil Guard. So if they take the same approach, because part of what made Mass Effect so good was the agency you had, and like choices mattered. And my understanding with everything of Veilguard is basically you're not actually giving agency a choice. Like you're very mothered in terms of the choices you make, which like is kind of the antithesis of what makes BioWare games BioWare games. And like if they do the same thing with Mass Effect 5, I'm just calling it that. If they do the same thing with Mass Effect 5, where basically you really don't have agency and like the choices are dictated to you, like it will get review bombed to hell and back. Like it will not succeed. I mean, to be Mass Effect, you need to have that Renegade Paragon choice. And I know other games have tried doing variations of like the whole good and evil thing, like in betweens. And sometimes people are afraid to do it in like, say, a game like Baldur's Gate, because you can piss off your companions. But sometimes just a good old, to me at least, sometimes a good old fashioned classic, good evil system. It just fix your choices, just go with it. Like that can be a good thing. Like sometimes simple is better. I'm not saying dumb it down where you don't have that choice, but just a very straightforward, good evil choice that worked very well in the Mass Effect series and other BioWare games. Like that was their bread and butter. Like why not go back to that? Because you know you can do it. And frankly, it's been a few years since we've had that anyways. It's not like we had one 2 years ago. We need to try something new. It's been, it's been a decade. Like go back to the well again. I don't think anyone's going to complain if you do kind of a straightforward, good, evil choice system.
Right.
That's just kind of, yeah. Like because to me, it's the balance of not being too complicated while still having depth.
I will see. Now, speaking of TV shows, let's talk about the fact that Arcane season 2, the last season of Arcane, um, is about to happen.
That reminds
What's
me of
that?
one of my pet peeves. Thank you. So yes, all of a sudden Arcade pops up on
Yep.
Netflix home screen. It's like new season coming. For the
Mhm.
love of God, Netflix, tell me when these damn new
Yep.
seasons are coming. It pisses me off. The same thing. There's another show, The Diplomat,
Uh-huh.
really good show. Same thing. They had like new season advertisement for a month. I'm like, when is it coming? Please tell me. And eventually, like, if you dig in enough on the interface,
Right.
you can find it. But like, it just needs to tell you when the damn new season is coming. That really, really annoyed me.
It would really be
Uh,
nice to, not have that if you're you're talking about a show that's upcoming, that it's easy to find when it is. You don't have to actually go outside of the application or streaming platform to find the information you need.
yeah. I am excited. I'll probably actually I don't really watch many shows, but that is probably one because this is the
Yes,
second and
yes.
last season,
And there's
correct?
two reasons behind
So
it,
this is
apparently.
so this is one of those so because of that, I will probably
Yeah.
rewatch the first season to get myself like, and plus it's
Yes,
been
yes.
3 years.
It's
It's
been
not like
a couple months.
yeah. So what were the
One,
reasons?
they didn't want it to drag on, and because they're like, we've got lots of storylines that we could have gone, but we just don't want it to lose its flavor. And two, apparently, it is one, if not the most expensive animated show on Netflix. So the budget was apparently insane.
The animation
Oh,
is freaking
absolutely.
incredible. I will give it that. So, I mean, it
Yeah.
is the balance. I guess the question is, would you rather have two phenomenal seasons, or let's just call them four okay
Right.
seasons? It's so I personally would rather have two phenomenal seasons that are like superbly done than like a continuing degrading quality. So, and what I do hope is because they've known about this that you get like a definitive season
Yes.
2 ending, and it's not like cliffhanger, or it's like cliffhanger and go play League of Legends to find out what
Right.
happens next.
Well, actually, what you'd have to do is you'd have to play League of Legends, Legend of Runeterra.
Oh,
Was
gosh.
it what's the other ones out there?
They probably have a
Yeah,
mobile game, I'm
there's
sure.
a mobile game. It's called like Team Tactics, I think. And then there's also quite a few PC games out there.
There's an MMO that works apparently, supposedly coming
Yeah.
out in like 10 years.
So we'll see.
I'm excited
Yeah.
about season 2.
But it is a little bit. I kind of wish that they had told us right off the bat, like now that they're just about to release season 2, like, oh yeah, by the way, this is it.
Yeah,
But we'll see.
we'll see. I'm sure it's gonna be good.
Yeah. Now, in the realm of movies, let's talk that Disney has revealed that there's going to be a new Star Wars trilogy. Yep.
Wait,
But
what?
it's not going to
Really?
be Skywalkers. It's going to be some other corner of the galaxy.
Oh, sure. Is it still at a time long
I would
ago?
assume so. My wife says that it's going to be the Jar Jar Binks saga.
Get out of here! You mean the true Sith
Yes,
that
exactly.
rules them all?
The Sith behind the scenes, the Jar Jar experience.
I mean, I do think it is. I do think it's a beneficial thing for them to finally move on from the
I agree.
Skywalker saga. So dropping that, I would not be shocked at all if, like, at the end of episode, you still hear like a whisper over, like, Luke Skywalker, or like some random bullshit like that. or like a post-credit scene where you hear a whisper from Palpatine. He's still secretly
Yeah,
alive.
exactly.
No, because it becomes at a certain point, it's a certain weight and burden, which it just overshadows everything. So I think yes, move on
Yeah.
from Skywalker, and because think about it, that's also what made Rogue One so phenomenal, is they could do their own unique story, unburdened by the rest of Skywalker or anything like even Han Solo. Like it wasn't even that. So like you had nothing. You could just do their own thing, and you're still in the Star Wars universe. So you still got all the cool sci-fi stuff, but with a great story and good acting. So I'm hoping that they'll be able to kind of like bring that back in a new Star Wars trilogy. That also, I hope, doesn't require watching like 4 different shows on Disney Plus to understand.
So the
what the hell's
question,
going
okay, so
on.
my question for you is, where in the timeline would you want, if knowing that there's going to be this new trilogy, where in the timeline do you want, would you think it would be best placed?
Honestly, I'm one of those people who knows so little about the actual Star Wars universe and timeline, or I'm an objectively
How
bad
about
person to answer that
pre-Anakin
question,
or
'cause
post-Rey?
I'm always a fan of just following sequentially in time.
Something that Star
So
Wars
not
did
a
not do.
prequel to the prequel. Yeah. So we're not prequeling the prequel. We're just whatever happened after Ray, just continue on with the storyline. I'm totally good with that. Now, I guess my question, which you might know, is what about the other Star Wars shows that are canon, I guess? Where are those before or after, or somewhere in the middle? So would those potentially have a effect on when the trilogy happens?
Having not seen all of them, I could tell you that they basically, the shows have been all over the place. There's some have been like early, I would say probably between movie okay, as we said, they're not sequentially in order. They three no, it's 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. So I think some of the shows exist between 3 and 4. Some of them exist like concurrent with 2. So I mean they're all, I mean I think most of them are more towards the earlier the early years of Skywalker.
Sure.
Which is kind of funny that we're talking about Star Wars because I'm wearing a Star Wars hat. I just noticed that. That's wow. Good job, Charlie.
Rebel
but
scoop.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they just went further back in time. To be honest, I seriously doubt that this new trilogy will touch the Skywalker line at all.
Well, I guess okay. So that's another question. Do you think you can go sequentially in order? So let's just say I'm just throwing out a random number: 100 years after the end of Episode 9, without following the Skywalker line. So is that? Do you think what maybe necessitates having to go prequel to the prequel?
Well, I would guess it would depend on how much the length of time that you put between it. Now, if this guy, you might, if they did it 200 years after the last Skywalker, then they could make hint at Skywalker, in passing, maybe have like a statue of him somewhere, and then just roll on. But I mean, anywhere you go,
I don't think there's anything wrong
have some backstory that hopefully they can kind of explain quickly, or maybe they don't have to because the storyline is so good that you just go, okay, this, I don't know exactly what this is, but it looks cool and they're making it cool, so carry on.
I mean, think about the original Star Wars, so Episode 4. Like, it is a phenomenal. It is such an incredible exposition dump at the very beginning. but like nobody complains about it being an exposition dump. And I think it's because like you give it this story and it just kind of entraps you. But then it goes straight into like that action scene where like, aren't they getting on a bridge or something, if I remember right? I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but like, it's like you go from this exposition and it's not like, and then you go straight into something happening. That seems to be a Star Wars thing that I think works. Like, you have your dump, but then you go into something of interest and then you kind of learn more about the world as it happens. And that I think works for the audience. Whereas if the first minute was just like a random character nobody cares about talking about that, and you just kind of oddly transition to like another scene, people will be like, well, this is dumb. But like the way they've always done that, it's like a staple and it's like we almost expect it to happen. I do think, like, to your point, like I said, like if it was $200 afterwards, I do think you can reference Skywalker.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like they talk about him like that. It would kind of be like abnormal not to be honest, without it still laying down the entire episode 10.
Speaking of, I guess we're talking about a potential origin story. I recently watched Transformer 1, which I thought was phenomenal, by the way. It was a little bit weird to have Chris Hemsworth voice Optimus Prime, but
was this an animated movie or something?
It just came out onto streaming. But the thing is, it's considered a failure. And the reason why is that, according to all of their sales and whatever, if you factor in how much money the movie made and then how much it cost to make and all the marketing, they literally just broke even, which is sad because I'm still holding out hope that they'll have a second one because it was good enough to warrant a second movie.
And of course, you get funny Hollywood accounting and who actually knows.
Now, speaking of a crappy movie, let's talk about the Borderlands movie one more time. Still haven't watched it. I still have no desire to watch it. But apparently, one good thing has come out of the Borderlands movie, and that is that Borderlands movie apparently during its theatrical run, they saw the Gearbox Entertainment or Gearbox Games. They've like branched now. They've seen an uptick in Borderland game sales, so that worked for them.
You mean for like 3 weeks?
Yeah, the 17 days the movie was actually available in theaters.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I haven't bought it, but when it came out, I was like, "Huh, it has been a long time since I played Borderlands. I should play Borderlands again." Maybe someday. It's not high on my list right now, but I will. Like someday when it comes to my streaming services, part of the content, I will watch it because I'm curious.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. When it's free on streaming. I'm got nothing else to do. Maybe I'll dip my toe into that. But there's
definitely not going out of
no. I'm not gonna be like, oh my gosh, look, it's free on Netflix or Prime or whatever platform I have access to at the time. Let me drop everything and watch it. No. It's more likely that I will stumble upon it when I'm going, God, I got nothing to watch. And I'll just be flipping through all the choices and be like, oh, why not? Click.
Yeah.
I
only have 200 movies in my queue, but I have nothing to watch.
Isn't that always like I go on Crunchyroll and I've got maybe 18 shows that are on my watch list. And I'll be like, I don't know. Oh, look at this new shiny one that I don't know anything about. Let me just watch an episode of that.
Yep.
Speaking of new and shiny, Robert Downey Jr. has come out and stated that he will sue the pants off anyone who tries to do a digital, basically CGI recreation of him in any upcoming films. Yes,
more power to him.
And I think that I would not be. with all this AI stuff and all the CGIing of like um, characters or actors or actresses that have since passed, I think that you're going to see a lot more actors and actresses, big name actors and actresses, having a line in their contract saying that the only time that you're able to use my image and likeness is in this film or TV show that I'm actually like the episode I'm or iteration that I'm actually in.
Yeah, the tricky part's going to be is 99% of actors don't have the clout that
True.
Robert Downey Jr. does. And if you just need a role to, have a roof over your head and feed yourself and your family, then
Yeah, that's why I wanted
most
to
actors aren't
put a
going to have
caveat
options
of
like that.
if, once you're a big enough name.
Yeah, you did. I agree, but it's tricky because, like, I'm of the opinion, at least, that should be a
Yes.
normal thing, where like you just can't reuse somebody's likeness and image. But the reality is Hollywood's going to somehow magically put that in all the contracts for the non-Robert Downey Juniors that they can reuse the
Yeah.
image and likeness. And unfortunately, like I can easily see, like actually a good example would probably
Yep.
be like Star Wars, where at the time where you had, Luke and Leia Skywalker, where it would have been actually, let's just take Star Wars
Yep.
Episode 10, right? And so I could easily see where like any to do a Star Wars movie, you don't need a big name actor or actress, like because you got Star Wars to drive the advertising already, so they can afford to get a. You still want a good
Right.
actor, obviously, but you don't need to have somebody on his level, Robert Downey Jr.'s level, so you can get like that level of actor or actress who you can put in there that clause. I'll call it the Luke Skywalker clause, and actually Layla, because they've done it in movies where they have the
Yep.
holograms of them. And I'm sure that'll be in there, where it's like if you want to be in Star Wars, and if you think about if you're a rising performer, to be like a lead performer in Star Wars,
Right.
I'm sure a lot. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but the reality is a lot of us would give up a lot of options to be able to be in that, because then that also sets you up for so many doors
Right.
down
Well,
the road.
the thing is that this is already happening, not with the image likeness, but there's a especially in the video game community, a lot of voice actors are already currently trying to fight and rework their contracts so that that these companies can't use AI to digitally use their voices to add dialogue, so they don't have to pay the actor again for additional dialogue options.
Yeah. Again, I think the even harder part of the voice actors is, oh, you won't do it? Okay, we'll
Someone
find
who
somebody
sounds
else.
almost identical to you.
But we can pay half the price, and they don't care.
That is the
that's
upside and the danger of voice acting is if you get into, unless, I mean, there are very few instances where the voice actor has gotten their way. Usually they just find a person who sounds like them. The only guy that really comes to mind off the top of my head is John DiMaggio, who's the voice of Bender on Futurama. And he when Hulu decided to pick up Futurama for the third iteration, Joe DiMaggio basically went to bat, and he's like, not only do I think I need to make more money, but I think everybody needs to make more money. And he wouldn't sign the contract, and he was able to hold out, and he won, which I wish that would help, that would happen and help those actors out more, but it usually doesn't.
There was a sitcom that did that. I want to say it was like Friends, where a couple of the leads did
sure.
that.
If you're that iconic, yeah,
you can do it. Yeah.
But if you're, if you've got a voice that, for better or for worse, a lot of people can emulate, then unless you have some serious clout, you are unfortunately replaceable.
We're just cogs in the capitalism conveyor belt.
Yes. Now, speaking of streaming platforms and shows and whatnot, Netflix has come out, and I keep forgetting that Netflix has these, but it's not for much longer, and that is the interactive shows and movies are about to go bye-bye. They're about to be delisted from Netflix, I believe, in the month of December. It was a cool, interesting idea. It's kind of like your choose your own adventure type thing. It kind of affected the flow of the show. It dumbed down the shows that you were able to do it, but it was still kind of cool. But there were a lot of requirements. You couldn't do it on all streaming devices. You really needed a streaming device that had a remote attached to it. You couldn't basically select from your phone. You couldn't, from the Netflix app, say stream to this and then be able to interact. You actually had to have like a Google Chrome that had the remote, or the Amazon Fire Stick with remote, so that you could do your interactions.
So kind of like their AAA gaming department that never actually created a game.
I thought, didn't they do New Worlds? Oh no, that's Amazon.
That was Amazon. Yeah, Netflix has disbanded their AAA gaming studio that never created a
Big
game.
surprise. I just love the fact. I mean, it's cool that like Netflix and Crunchyroll have like some deals with some mobile game developers, that if you are a subscriber, you can have access to these games. The funny thing is, if you read the reviews, because most of these games they get review bombed to hell, and the only but the thing is, the reason that they get review bombed is because people find them on the App Store and they can't play them because they don't have Netflix or Crunchyroll, and so they bomb them. So it's like, yeah, it says in the description, it says for this subscriber. So I don't know why. Oh, that's right. We don't read things anymore.
Yeah. I feel like review bombing is actually becoming a bigger. It's like every game now, it feels like, not every game, obviously.
Veilguard got review bombed.
But so many games get like review bombed, and it's such a hard mentality when you play it, with the review bombs. Like, I don't know what the solution is. Like, you can't require more hours because people just sit there and idle for 10 hours. But like, it's just making, and I know reviews have always had their issues as far as authenticity, but now it's frustrating because I want to read reviews, but then understand this is somebody's authentic opinion about the game, and they're not just literally following the cattle herd as far as whatever. Let's be honest, usually it's some kind of either a social agenda or B, some kind of technical issue. And I'll grant you the technical issue is a good reason to not enjoy the game. But when you get like 18 million people who review bomb it, even though they never experienced this bug, it's like, really, guys? So it gets to be a bit, I mean, it's the whole thing of disinformation on the internet. It's like, what is real versus not real? And the whole like review bombing thing, that is a legitimate issue. I think when you're looking at being able to look at what is a game's actual rating is becoming very skewed.
Just compounding the issue with the Metacritic rating problems.
Which in a weird way, I wonder if it's like Veilguard thought they were going like a safe route to like almost avoid that. I don't know. Reviews are a funny thing. I mean, but then again, we had like, think about it, like when magazines like PC Gamer were a thing, there was also the issue of conflict of interest where you're getting sponsored by Hitman and the Hitman game comes out and it's shit, but your publisher or, higher up is not going to publish it because they're paying the bill. So it's always been an issue of, kind of the reviews is how uncolored by external forces are they. is not a new issue in this
And
world.
that issue actually extended to review websites. I mean, the big one was back in the day, GameSpot, in what is called, and you can Google this, Gershman Gate. There was a viewer by the name of Jeff Gershman, who I think it was Kanan Lynch, and they were the big sponsor, and he reviewed bombed it, or he just bombed it. He wasn't trying to be mean. He was just this is my honest opinion. They're like, you can't post this, and he's like, well, then I'm out. And when he left because of speaking his honest opinion, a bunch of people left, and of course created Giant Bomb, and then Giant Bomb got bought by GameSpot's parent company, and then all of the Giant Bomb reviews were being put on GameSpot to make it more authentic. I'm like, Jesus, what a weird circle you guys went in. But anyways,
Yep.
yeah.
But I mean, you think for like every one of those
Mhm.
stories you hear, how many stories do we never hear where the exact same
right.
thing happened? I mean, you know, I mean, you hear about it, so there have to be either canned stories or like, nope, delete this paragraph. Heavily edited and redacted stories. It's just so.
You've got, I
Yeah.
mean, there's when you look at Yelp, I mean, there's so many competitor like shops that will bomb each other, go at each other for food quality or service, or the reviews on Amazon that are being written by, AI bots
and
or by individuals who are basically getting paid by the manufacturer to post this exact review that they hand wrote for them to post.
my favorite were always particularly
Mhm.
tech ones. Back when Newegg was actually a good supplier of computer parts, um, and people would like they would typically get like really good reviews as far as like CPU and RAM, and then you read like somebody's review of like this RAM stick didn't work with this, and you'd read their build, and it's like it was an Intel piece of RAM with an
Mhm.
AMD motherboard, and you'd be like, yeah,
Or the wrong DDR.
yeah, or like yeah, just something where like yeah, of course it didn't work, but that's not the actual product's fault. That's your own lack of smart ability to read and
My
understand
cup
how
holder
things
broke
work. But
again. It's CD drive, my friend. It's not a cup holder.
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
My keyboard no longer works after I washed in the bathtub. Sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to pause real quick to thank the individuals who help Alta Confusion be the Alta Confusion that you love and adore. These, of course, are the friends of the show. And to start it off with, of course, is the Indie Cluster. The Indie Cluster is an organization of independent game developers that want to gain exposure by being involved in the community. They collectively journey to popular conferences as a traveling booth to help gain attention for their games. They make partnerships in local communities to bring games to the mainstream mindset. They highlight local, unusual, and rare concepts that challenge the paradigm of the common. They also host events to teach kids and minority groups about game development to hopefully one day enter the industry themselves. For more information, go to indiecluster.com. The next shout out we got to give is to the AV master himself, and I hope to see him at a convention in the Atlanta area sometime soon now that he's in Baltimore instead of Kansas City. And that, of course, is Noodle Boy Media. Founded in 2015 by Andrew Tran, Noodle Boy Media, previously White Kid 47 Media, is your choice for professional photo shoots and panel recordings at conventions. They pride themselves in providing a high level of professionalism, top-notch experiences, and quality services. If you want more information and to view their full list of services, check out facebook.com/noodleboymedia. The next shout out we got to give is to a gentleman who I really wish was coming soon because 24 hours of gaming straight has caused quite a crick in my neck and back, and that, of course, is Hero Chiropractic. Hero Chiropractic is a unique healthcare practice set up by Ryan Moore. The company's focus to elevate a patient's experience of freedom, creative expression, and joy. They believe that everyone can be a hero and has incredible heroic potential inside themselves waiting to be unleashed. Hero Chiropractic focuses on mobile chiropractic care in the greater Atlanta area. They are committed to healing clients by creating a plan of action uniquely suited for each person. They make that plan of action as convenient and affordable as possible, and most importantly, suited to your individual needs. For more information, go to herochiropractic.com.
Sounds like in the future, you need to like schedule them to come like in the middle, like 12 hours into your marathon.
That would be a smart move, wouldn't it? Yeah, that would, yeah. One of these days, I will actually use that thing in my head called a brain. All right, the next shout out we got to give is to the music maestro himself, and that, of course, is CrossPad Creative. Need a new logo or want to work on a full branding and content strategy? Or maybe you need music or audio for your content, just like Ultra Confusion. CrossPad Creative offers a whole host of solutions for individuals and small businesses. Just email Josh at crosspadcreative@gmail.com and see what he can do for you. And of course, the final shout out we got to give is to the original backer on Patreon for Ultra Confusion. That, of course, is Agile Axiom. By day, Ax leads both the development team and system administration team working with satellites at NASA's Goddard campus. But while not in meetings, and many times during, he is the Agile evangelist, Agile Ax, championing the philosophy of Agile and trying to make the world a better place for software developers, testers, system admins, and software projects the world over. Decades of experience in software development and leading agile teams are brought to bear against evil processes, inefficient work, and bad habits. For more information, go to agileaxiom.com. Now, I know that everyone out there is dying to know, how do I become a friend of the show? Well, friends, it is quite simple. And if I actually had the right slide, I could do this. Okay, here we go. So Ultra Confusion survives on the love and support of fans like you, and so we have a Patreon page. Patreon lets you, the fans, lovers, haters, interdimensional beings, gods, demigods, werewolves, vampires, mummies, supporters, and more to become active participants in the work we love through a monthly membership. This gives you access to exclusive content, community, and insight into our creative process. In exchange, we gain a bit more freedom to do our best work and the stability we need to build an even stronger creative career. We currently have 2 tiers that you can pledge at. There's the $1 a month tier. That's $1 a month or $12 a year. And what that gets you access to is early access to all the playthroughs, as well as the ability to participate in patron-only posts. Now, if you're feeling extra frisky, you can bump that up to the $5 a month. That's $5 a month or $60 a year. And what that will get you is everything at the $1 tier, as well as your name or organization added to the Friends of the Show section of every single Thursday night hangout. Now, if you want to become a patron of Ultra Confusion, all you got to do is go to Patreon. That's patreon.com/alteredconfusion. Now, of course, this did happen. We've made many references to it, but you still can help us out. Ladies and gentlemen, Ultra Confusion is proud to say that we have been fundraising for Extra Life for 13 years straight. Extra Life is gamers doing what they do best, game, to help sick and injured children at their chosen Children's Miracle Network Hospital. The money that we raise through Extra Life will go directly to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta as unrestricted funds. This means that the hospital decides where and how to spend the money to ensure the dollars we raise make the biggest impact in the lives of the kids they treat. So if you have the capacity to donate, go to extra-life.org and search for Altered Confusion. And Zealeus, I think you had already posted the link. Do you know what we're at right now? I think we've surpassed the goal. I know that. Hold on, Zealeus, you're muted. I don't know what happened.
I muted myself because I was coughing. We were at $565.
So, yeah.
Very nice.
Speaking of which, since we were talking about it, because we got over, I think it was the 200 thing. I did get the Extra Life T-shirt, which I have to admit, this one looks pretty dang awesome. There's the front, and here is the back.
Nice. Do you own like 10 T-shirts from Extra Life?
So I know I've got a bunch of Extra Life T-shirts, but I was trying to find one for this past Saturday, and I couldn't find a single one. So they must be shoved like deep in my T-shirt drawer.
I bet there's someone in the house who just secretly, like, if sees things not been worn for like 3 months, just kind of.
Or they're
just
like, you know what?
walk
I need one of Dad's T-shirts, and then they just magically never come back.
So I'm thinking you could just basically have a wardrobe of only Extra Life shirts.
Dude, I've been finding all of my my old gaming jerseys, like
Nice.
I've got Cloud9, I've got what was the other one? NRG.
Well, you got
And then I
Atlanta
have
Reign,
my Atlanta Reign jersey as well.
which is it's now a collector's item.
Yep, because it don't exist no more. That whole league went kaputsies. And I did, like when the Overwatch Pro League was huge, ESPN even like had an esports section to their website. Now, if you go to the ESPN esports section of the website today, I think like the latest post, I think it's like 4 years old. They literally stopped everything because I think the last post actually dealt with League of Legends.
I did see that League of Legends, I guess, World Tournament happened again last week, and Faker won again, bro. It's like, I mean, you guys won like 5 straight world championships or something, which is pretty ridiculous.
Speaking of streamers, let's the very popular streamer and pro gamer. I don't know if there's like a correct way to put it or pronounce his gamer tag, but it's XQC. He has revealed that he has a very bad gambling habit. And he not only did he reveal that, but he also revealed how much money he's lost gambling. And holy crap, do I wish I had his money, because he has lost around $100 million. Yeah. Wow. I have lost maybe $150 gambling, period. But to put 6 zeros behind it, that's insane.
I mean, that also means he has one hell of a streaming income.
Well, he actually just signed a deal with the Twitch rival Kick for $100 million. So he's broken even now, thanks to that deal. But still, he has lost he's lost $100 million. He just needs to stop gambling. Apparently, he just bets really poorly.
I mean, that's a hell of a addiction.
Actually, he said that he has not gambled since 2023 because of
That's good.
the amount of debt he was accruing.
Yeah, that's when they come crack your knuckles.
Now, it's not like he's not in trouble without the gambling. Apparently, he is wrapped up in a lawsuit with his former girlfriend over claims of domestic violence. So.
Oh. Oh, good. Domestic violence bad, people.
Very bad.
It should not be that complicated.
Shouldn't. It really shouldn't. It really shouldn't. But.
Yeah.
Anywho, there is talk about a new Tomb Raider TV show. I mean, hell, every single video game is getting its TV show now. Now, they did do Netflix did do an animated Tomb Raider show. The voice talent that was used for Lara Croft was none other than okay, well, I'm trying to think what her actual name is, but she was Agent Carter. She was basically the love interest
Haley
of
Atwell.
Captain America. Yeah, that's it.
Haley Atwell.
She was the voice of Lara Croft. It was not a bad show. I think it was 8 episodes, maybe. I feel like that's the magic number on Netflix and Crunchyroll these days. It's 8 or 12 episodes.
Well, the rumor now is for a live action one, and one of the people who's rumored is Sophie Turner, aka Sansa Stark, and I'm just because like I don't know about you, but I think of Lara Croft. I think someone like with physical prowess and like can do cool ninja shit. That doesn't strike me as Sophie Turner. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she learned kung fu like Keanu Reeves. Because to be fair, he wasn't a kung fu expert before, The Matrix and shit either.
I'm going to be totally honest with you. I loved the Alicia Vikander as Lara Croft when they did the I think it's just called Tomb Raider. It was released in 2018. She was great.
She was great in it.
I don't know.
But then I don't know why they didn't. I don't know why that was it.
Yeah, that. Damn you, Hollywood, and your weird budgeting crap.
No, I thought it was a good reboot. I mean, because I also liked Angelina Jolie. Like she played a great Tomb Raider. But yeah, I agree. Like the 2017 was a good movie, and I thought deserved a follow up.
Agreed. I fully agree.
Yeah. Definitely better than what's the one with Nathan Drake, the movie?
Yeah, that's Uncharted.
Yeah, definitely better. Both versions of Tomb Raider definitely better than Uncharted.
And they're making a second one. Uncharted.
It honestly feels like a poor man's National Treasure. Like National Treasure, but without the Nicolas Cage charm.
Well, I mean, I understand. Don't get me wrong. The video games are phenomenal, but I just think that the two main leads in Uncharted, and I've seen the Uncharted movie, so I can back this up. They were miscasts. Okay, they do. Yes, you Wahlberg and Spider-Man, whatever his name is.
Yeah, we all know who Spider-Man is.
They're great. They're great
Spider-Man.
action actors, but that's not Nathan Drake. That's not was it Sully? I think is the one that Wahlberg played.
I mean, Wahlberg's honestly, he's like.
I will always. I know that I'm being a homer, but. And of course, as many of you might have noticed, I am a little bit of a purist when it comes to stuff that I like, and then having a reimagining in a different medium. But there was a short, a video short that was on YouTube. It's still on YouTube. That had Nathan Fillion as Nathan Drake, and I can't remember the guy who they had as Sully, but it looked the part. Now, of course, Nathan Fillion is way too old to do that now, but God.
But that's the thing, like a Nathan Fillion,
yeah.
I know he's old now, or like a Nicolas Cage, like they do those roles because they have a certain charm on TV. They just do. Like some guys just have it. And I feel like when you do those those treasure hunt type of movies, even The Mummy, Brendan Fraser, like they all that certain, you just can't teach it. Sorry, Mark Wahlberg doesn't have it. Like he's just himself. He doesn't change his acting. And I think that for me, and he tried to have that humor and that wit, and just when he kind of almost has to carry it. I know he wasn't the only A-lister, I use it loosely, A-lister in it, but he doesn't have that charm to do it very well. Um, and that's all I can think of. I'm seeing like it's just a not as good Nicolas Cage National Treasure.
Stephen Lang they had as Sully for that uh, Uncharted fan film.
Who's Stephen? I don't recognize Stephen Lang.
If you've seen Avatar, the
Yeah.
crazy military guy, it
Okay, sure.
worked. It
It worked though.
That's exactly what I envision. You know, like a live action adaptation of Uncharted.
Sure. Well,
Yes,
here we are.
We indeed are. Crying into our milk and cereal and all of our food because Hollywood messes things
Cranberry
up.
juice. It's part of their job description.
Yeah, it is part of their job description. But, anyways. All right. Zealeus, what have you been playing? Have you been playing? How about that?
I'm still trying to finish frickin' Hogwarts
You're
Legacy.
Back to Hogwarts Legacy?
It's just like once you get into the Highlands part, I feel like you're just doing the same repetitious things over and over and over. And like to me, that's the issue with most open world games. Like it's not a legacy issue. It's just that's where I got bored of when Horizon Zero Dawn. Like those type of open world games, and that's frankly a lot of the Assassin games, Assassin's Creed games, right? To me, that's the issue with open world games in general, is you get to the point and like, you know, okay, you're finding a different scroll this time, or you're finding the missing page from the other scroll. But like you're fighting the same three type of monsters, using the same things, and it just kind of gets to be super repetitive over time. And I hate it when it feels like it's like a good example for me in Hogwarts Legacy is those damn Demi-Geist. It's like a forced treasure hunt to basically up your level to be able to break into the higher level locks. And so like it's gating a part of the game behind this completionist part of an open world game. And that I don't like when games do that. Obviously, there are completionists out there, so I don't have an issue with having those in general. But it's when you gate things behind completionist type of things, that's when I start to like lose major interest in it.
I got a question for you because I finished. I finished and wrote a review for Dragon Quest XI on the Switch, and they had completion. I guess post-completion quests that could not be completed until you have beaten the game. I was like, as soon as I saw the credits roll, I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to complete the rest of these because that's just I've put so much time in. I think it was like in 79 hours.
And if for a game, because the big thing with RPGs is supposed to be like the story, right? And obviously the combat, but the story is supposed to be one of the main driving points. And like when you finish a RPG like that, to me, you're supposed to like get to the final boss. You beat the final boss
or
in
third
like
form.
Fair enough, yes, because hello JRPGs. But in that case, you should feel that feeling of completion, right? Like that's kind of the whole point of I finally finished this. Now, if you want to go the New Game Plus route or like the Final Fantasy route where you have like the Omega weapon, or it's like optional extra stuff, I'm like, okay, sure.
But introducing something before the end of the game, but it can't be completed until after you beat the game, is a little weird.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I've been putting all my time after playing Dragon Quest 11. I tried another game called I think it's called Chained Echoes. I just couldn't get into it. Now I'm playing Monster Hunter Stories, which is kind of like it's there's monster hunters, the guys with the humongous weapons that kill the monsters, and then there's this subset of characters called riders who actually tame the monsters and ride them. And of course, they still kill other monsters, but they don't think that all monsters are bad.
Yeah.
And I've been playing that one recently, as well as from the creators of Dead Cells, Windblown for the PC. You probably that's what I've been streaming. It is. I mean, it's very much like Hades.
Okay.
It is
Nice.
that rogue like. You have your you always start in the same place, and you're always going to transition through the exact areas, the like type of areas, the color palette areas every single time, but it's going to be in a different form, layout. There's going to be secrets there. You can unlock weapons. You have 2 weapons and 2 skills, or 2, I guess not skills or items that you can use. My favorite is I always need a melee weapon and a ranged weapon, and then hopefully I get a bomb or 2, maybe like a big bomb and then a freeze bomb, so I can freeze those guys. And Windblown, I've beaten, I think, the first 2 bosses, maybe 2 or 3 bosses. No, I think it's 2. The second boss, it was a bitch. That thing was damn near impossible to do, but I figured it out. Ha ha.
Totally random, but whatever happened to when you were playing Tower of Fantasy?
I took a break, and then when I tried to play it again, I was like, I don't remember anything. Like it was
the classic
fun. I
RPG.
mean, it wasn't. I felt like, I don't know.
Good enough.
I mean, it was fun. It's definitely you could definitely sink some serious time into it. It just, it didn't feel as crisp as it could have been.
Okay.
But yeah, played that. Of course, still playing Legends of Runeterra, almost exclusively on my cell phone because it works very well on the cell phone. Yeah.
Nice.
But anywho, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we've reached the end of our show. So, without further ado, I want to thank everyone for tuning into the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been a pleasure giving everything come our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. We'll be back next Thursday for another Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world, and I will not be here
try
next
to find
Thursday.
a way to do it. Amen to that, brother. Yeah, I kind of remembered you told me. I remembered that that there was a week coming up that you said you weren't going to be able to be there. So it might just be a gaming thing because I'm running into the same problem next week as I did today because I have a game at 7. But
I see Ultra Confusion has played 2.3 hours of Tower
right
of Fantasy.
now? Oh, on my Steam thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, how many hours did I put into Tales of the Neon Sea? 5.3 hours. So I put 5.3 hours of the 24 hours into Tales of the Neon Sea. And I also put 5.6 hours of the 24 hours into Steam World Heist 2. Because I had never played either of those games until I did the 24-hour Gameathon.
Oh, yes.
Anywho. All right, I am going to end the stream. I need to talk to Zealeus offline, but everyone have a good evening. And my wife's computer chair is spinning around by itself. Dog, get off the chair.